Colin, looking ahead to Saturday, soft sand runs in the CUNY. That was a very good run behind Shopaholic last time here.
Yeah, Shopaholic's a bit of a giant killer, isn't it? Beat Machine and beat My Filly. So, but look, we thought that difficult barrier at Caulfield, we had to make a lot of use of her. So we're looking forward to a rematch. It's a very good race, and My Filly's in good order. She's been going for a while, and this will be her last run, this preparation. But she's in good order.
She came through that run okay last time?
It was always a plan to have 2 weeks between runs. Last couple of runs has been 2 weeks, and she's a pretty tough filly, and she's freshened up really well, and we're quite happy with the work here on Tuesday.
She's drawn in 8. Damien Oliver rides. What will be instructions to Damien?
I don't know if Damien takes instructions, but look, from a bad barrier the other day at the 14 at Caulfield, it's a very difficult barrier, and we were thinking we might be able to slot in, but it didn't work that way, and he had to keep going and put a fair bit of pressure on her, and she sat outside the leader. This filly has been unlucky in barriers. She's actually never been inside a horse in her life. She's tended to draw the outside or one from the outside every start. So from this barrier, it looks like she'll finally be inside horses. So 14 at Flemington, we'd probably just see if we could tuck away somewhere not too far away and see if we can pick them up in the last, 100 metres or so.
How confident are you going into the race?
I have a lot of confidence in the horse. The horse is a pretty good horse, and not only a lot of ability, but she's a good horse to train. Very strong, tough, good eater, quite an easy filly to train.
You mentioned that she'll have a break after Saturday. What sort of races do you think she could run in, say, in the spring?
The spring's a long time. There's very little time between the spring and the autumn, and then you've got this enormous gap between the autumn and the spring. I just think she's been going for 6 months, and she deserves a break, and the owner will be here on Saturday. So she'll be in the paddock on Monday, and I'm really not sure where she'll go. She'll have a break, and while she's in the paddock for a week or 2 or 3, we'll talk about where to go. But long time between now and spring, 6 months, and there's always a carnival. There's Adelaide in the short term and Brisbane in the middle of the year. So I don't know if she'd have basically 6 months off before the spring. It's a long time. So, but I do think she's entitled to a little break, and we'll make a decision when she's in the paddock where she goes.
Port Vale runs in Adelaide on Saturday?
Yeah, Adelaide seems to suit Port Vale, although it's a long time since he's won a race, but he was a little unlucky the other day. He couldn't get out. He races really well in Adelaide, except that it's the inside track, and his good form has always been on the outer track at Adelaide. But maybe he just likes the weather and the track conditions there. He probably needs a 3, that horse, to act well. So he's off again tonight, and it's a small field, so I hope he can go one better than last time.
And Tanalot runs in the Adelaide Cup. That was a good win last time at Moonee Valley.
Yes, he's making big leaps all of a sudden. He's by Street Cry out of a generous mare, so he has a lot of stamina in his pedigree, and it's a bit of a jump from Class 72 race to an Adelaide Cup, but he's a pretty tough horse, and we like the way he carried the 60 the other day, and now down to 53. It's a big help, and that's persuaded us to go to Adelaide. Not sure about leading over 32. He likes to lead, that horse, but first go at the trip, we'll have to think about how we ride him, but certainly he'll be on pace.
But it doesn't seem to be an overly strong Adelaide Cup.
I'm sure when people say that, they haven't got a runner. Most times when you say it's a weak race, it means you haven't got a runner. But the 2 top weights have drawn 19 and 20, will make it difficult for them. A fair bit of weight and quite a bad barrier for those horses, so that might help a bit. But the top weight won the Roy Higgins the other day, and he's obviously a pretty good horse, running a couple of Melbourne Cups. I don't know if it's so weak, but there's probably a few horses in there that unknown quantities at the trip, and one of them will stand up.